Hey, give me like 3 minutes so I can vacuum the apartment before Emily comes home, so I don't get in trouble.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, finally back. Let me turn this on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got to put my camera on.
I should probably turn that light off. Hi.
Come on, Coco. Come on
1,
up.
2, 3. Boop.
So, do you see the big announcement that happened just before we went live?
No.
Sharpie, longtime Immortals fan,
Oh yeah, went to
went to
Shopify.
Shopify of all orgs.
Yeah,
Shopify?
I mean it kind of makes sense.
I mean, I'm not going to deny that it makes a little bit of sense, but at the same time, Shopify?
I think it makes sense from the idea of like, why really try to cheer for anyone like above what his last team did, you know? Just kind of let it run.
Yeah.
Like, I'm and Shopify can't do worse, you know?
I mean, they technically could. They won't, but they could.
Yeah, you can't really do worse at this point. I
I mean,
think Cat went over there too. They're kind of having a couple people will go
wait,
over there.
who else went over there?
Cat went over there.
I need to see this one. Oh, when you say Cat, I think of Katie Chan, who's operations with FlyQuest.
Oh no, I don't. I don't know who that is.
Wait, who's Cat? Because then there's also
A9 Cat
okay.
in the Discord. She said she's going over there too.
Interesting. So Shopify's actually picking up some fans.
Hmm.
At least a few. Not saying a lot, but at least a few.
No, they are like, and it's legitimate. I think they're actually like, I mean, they're picking up some people who actually normally care about the scene, so it's interesting.
The question is, will it create any culture within Shopify? That's the ultimate thing. Like, what will the fan identity become for Shopify?
I don't really know. I mean, really, I think it's all on uh, Cloud still. I think Cloud's still probably their most vocal member,
Yeah.
but even then, you're talking about like they're an interesting team. I don't really know what they're too much about. Their first split was not like an insane impression, I think, on the league. Like, I think that's fair to say that it was kind of just an experience that happened.
Yeah. Aurelius, can you send in Discord or put just like in the esports chat the link to what you mean by layoffs at FlyQuest? I'm not sure if that's happened yet already or like if it's been said publicly, but if you could link that, that'd be great. He said apparently there's layoffs happening over at FlyQuest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've not heard that either.
Neither have I. That's
So
why I was like, I want
that'd
to.
be interesting.
That'd be interesting to know. But I mean, Shopify will be. I mean, I'm curious to see how this roster does. Fudge contracts, B-Voice CEOs, and then an unknown mid laner.
Uh, I'm.
Cloud's sitting here trying to
I
hype it
don't
up as like
know.
top three. It's like, dude,
The bottom lane is really weird. I think there's a lot that's like I can try to convince myself to get behind, but then I see the bottom lane and I'm just not. I'm not there with it. What?
no, don't tell me Danielle was let go. No, 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 no.
I don't know who that is.
Holy fuck. She was with CLG and then with NRG
Fly?
or no, NRG bought CLG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she went to NRG for a bit. Or no, did she? I don't know if she ever went to NRG, but she was definitely with CLG. Uh and then went to FlyQuest. And she said, "Here, I'll pull it up on screen for people to see." Um she said, where's this? There we go. She said, "Today was my last day at FlyQuest. I really don't know what to say right now, and I'll probably reserve most of my comments in the interest of being diplomatic. But to say this has been one of the hardest days of my life would be an understatement."
Hmm.
Holy fuck. That's a hire that I wouldn't expect to be hit by layoffs at all.
Yeah, that's strange. Hmm.
I wonder if that's the end of it. I wonder if that's the only. There's no way she's the only person getting laid off, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
The comment about being diplomatic makes me weary about what's going on over there. Not that I'm in a position at all as a fan of 100 Thieves to, be doing that, but
Yeah. No. I get that. I
also I realized I should probably flip this hat around backwards given the election.
Yeah. Oh. Wait, why? What is
Miami, which
Oh, is that like a Oh, is that like from his area down there or
well, I
something?
mean Miami-Dade flipped from blue to red for the first time I think
Oh.
yeah. So I'll just yeah. You know what? Probably just go with a different hat for the time being. Better safe than sorry, right?
I'm keeping on my vintage Walt Disney World 1927 hat. Or 1928 one.
Good for you. We'll go with
I
Elgato. Feels like
Good plug.
yeah, great plug. Which if you use code
Yeah,
ZC China, 5% off. Anyways,
I
what were you saying?
think if like FlyQuest is laying off, it's not great obviously, but I guess they're just trying to see how once you win, it seems like teams lately have been trying to see how little they need to win again.
I mean, to be
It
fair,
seems to be the
director of
trend right now.
marketing is not like has no
Oh
impact
yeah,
on
that's
day to
true.
day
She's
of like
director of marketing.
yeah.
Okay. Then
So
yeah,
like
she's not gonna have too much of a problem right on.
on the low program, no, but on FlyQuest as a
Yeah.
brand, it makes you wonder what direction are they going? Like what are they
Yeah,
doing?
they must be changing something big.
Because that's a big change.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're promoting internally. Like I don't know.
Well, they also are probably, I mean, a lot of us have been saying how are they going to move on from the fun-loving Save the Trees brand because that doesn't seem to be what this team is anymore. And I
She
don't
is
really
very much
know
like
FlyQuest that in
classic.
depth.
She is like classic
Yeah.
CLG type marketing and fandom. Not saying that she can't get spicy, because by all means I know that she does, but
Mhm.
I don't know. That's a wild one to hit on the timeline right now. Do we want to talk about Worlds though? So, by the way, welcome everybody to the Crossover Podcast, episode 148. Feels like not that many episodes in the grand scheme of things, but I guess it has been. But
Yeah.
we haven't been here in 2 weeks because your boy went to Miami and went on a cruise for a
Oh,
week during the worst possible week to go on a fucking trip.
someone
But
said that.
I'll let you direct because you've been around for the last week and a half. What do you think are like the spice? Where do we have to start? Do we start at Worlds? Do we start elsewhere? Where do we go with this?
Probably, yeah, Worlds. I mean, I think the biggest thing is now we have our answer on like who is well, one, we've already known Faker's pretty undisputed GOAT. This just adds to that. But now I think there's a real argument for this might be the best roster we've ever seen as far as a
I
whole roster goes.
I don't even think it's an argument now.
Yeah, I
It's
don't think
just
you really
them.
can. Yeah. Like, I know some people had problems with they haven't won enough regionals and MSIs, which I understand that argument. It's just the fact of they've made 3 worlds and won 2 of them. That's kind of just makes everything over.
Yeah.
Not much else you can do.
I apologize to you and to everybody else for having to pause this for 5 minutes, but I'm getting a phone call from my mom, which is really odd given I just talked to her earlier today. So
Okay.
give me 5 minutes. I will let you do as you please. If you want to do anything, you gotta go.
Sounds good.
If you want to drag anybody in as well, you're more than welcome to. Doesn't matter. But I
Yeah, if
got to.
anybody wants to hop
Hey, go, come here. All right. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Everything appears to be fine. So
Okay, good.
we're good. Sorry, chat. Didn't mean to leave in the middle of that. Anything interesting happen or just
I
bullshit?
talked about LPL stuff because apparently LPL is having a real viewership slash monetization problem right now.
I mean, we knew they were
And
gonna cut their salaries, right? Like the salary cap was coming in this year.
yeah, it's not that. It's apparently that like JD or EDG, RNG, IG, and Team We. I don't remember what teams I said, but I was wrong. Those 4 teams are their big teams, and all of them have been bad lately, and it's like really hurting LPL. Because apparently BLG's fan base is not too big, and JDG's is like non-existent unless they're winning. So it's like actually kind of hurting them. And then the salary cap coming in is breaking up BLG, and
I mean,
LPL people are worried that they can't compete with Korea, which they can't without amassing a super team. So
I honestly think that's
awkward.
bullshit though on the BLG front.
But
If they wanted to stay together, they stay together.
well, they can't because of salary cap rules.
You could take the pay cut.
Okay, but come on, esports is not a guaranteed thing
I know, but I'm saying
like other.
if winning worlds and staying together is your priority, take the pay cut. This is the new world you live in. Like, what choice do you have? The whole thing isn't profitable.
Mhm.
Got, I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. By all means, I respect you getting your bag. If you want to take the higher pay because of the salary cap, go right ahead.
Hmm.
But
I just think it's going to be interesting because I think it means LCK is kind of just locked in to keep winning.
probably, I mean, as long as the T1 roster exists, they're gonna be
Yeah,
good.
they have
Well,
definite plot armor.
good at worlds. To clarify, uh,
Yeah, that's so weird. It is genuinely so weird that that's like all they can turn it on for. Now, League is a weird game. I will say it's not like anything else in the sense of that the devs legitimately can change the game to be really good for certain teams, like before a tournament, which is a very strange thing in League of Legends that I'm starting to think is like maybe a bit more impactful on competitive integrity than I used to care to think about. Now I understand there's going to be 2 schools of thought, right? One's going to be like, why do you care? Get over it. If you're the best, you're the best. But there's also the other school of thought that is like, could you imagine if like the NFL could just be like right before the Super Bowl, like institute a rule or playoff starts, institute a rule, 30 passes max every game. That's all you get. You get 30 pass attempts a game, and that's it. Which is basically the same thing as shifting a whole comp. You know what I mean?
yep.
Like you're shifting the play style. So if they did that, everyone would be like, "What is going on? This is a weird feeling." But in League, it's just such part of the game. It's like, yeah, all right, but it has been, I will say, it is a little weird when you start to think about it that all the champs that one team plays that keeps making pushes at the same time every year and seems to lose at every other time of the year, the champs that they're really good at become meta randomly at the end of the year.
I mean, look, it is the world's patch though. Like the
Yeah.
world's patch always, like historically over the course of I don't even know how many years now, has always swung towards a particular style that
Yeah.
encourages 5v5 team fighting with some pretty fun 80 carries to watch. Like that's
Hmm.
always been the thing, no?
No, yeah, for sure.
So I don't know if that's necessarily them shifting the meta to T1 or just T1 intentionally building a roster knowing that Worlds every single year is going to be in this style
Hmm.
and making sure that regardless of how things change as the year goes on, they'll be fine come Worlds.
Yeah. It's just an interesting thing to think about. I'm not saying like it's actually
Yeah, it doesn't take away from
happening.
the
Yeah.
accomplishment as is, which I love by the way. I love that like there's
Yeah.
this underlying like let's piss off Dom and just like give the full narrative point, because it's like it's T1 at Worlds. Nothing else matters. Like
Yep.
everything else is irrelevant at that point.
Yep. I mean, but at this point, it's not even a narrative point. It just is what it is.
I mean,
Like they.
it still is though, because like
No, yeah. I just mean it's also like kind of facts. Like it's T1 at Worlds. You can't even like say it's not. What is it? Like there's no science behind it or stats behind it. It's literally a thing
yep.
that keeps happening.
Hey,
Like
I
if they're there, you should put them to win as the dark horse at this point.
okay. So let me ask you this: we go through the entire year next year. Gen
Mhm.
G, same thing as this year. Golden
Mhm.
Road with they're picking up what, Ruler instead of Pace, apparently. Which, by the way,
That's what people are saying.
rip to your boy Pace.
KT is kind of building low key though. A decent squad, bro.
Yep.
Not for Worlds because Doran always chokes internationally,
But
but
domestically, he's fine.
domestically he does have a lot.
So Gen G wins. Okay, we're in the new world. They win the opening tournament for the LCK. They win the international tournament, whatever the fuck, face off or whatever. I forget what first whatever. What's somebody in chat can correct me. What's the name of the tournament? They go into the LCK, which I love their first stand. Thank you. They win first stand. They go back. The LCK. This will be an interesting technical point of whether the Golden Road is still on if you qualify to MSI but don't win the MSI qualification, because it's not technically a title. It's just the qualification because the LCK is one long split. So assuming best case scenario, they win the qualification to MSI, they win MSI, they win the LCK, okay? They get to Worlds. Are you still picking T1 over Genji?
Oh, like they're golden roading.
Yeah, they're golden roading. Are you picking T1?
I mean, if T1 makes it, I feel like at this point you gotta abandon reason. Like you have to, for the sake of clutchness. Dude, they looked terrible coming into this Worlds.
To JJDC's point, T1 got a DDoS attack and faker wrist injury all amidst that slump. And I will say on the DDoS attack point, like there was a long period of time where I think people were divided on whether it made a difference or not.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is now proof that clearly it did. Faker was playing like an animal unleashed. So yeah, I'm willing to say that the DDoS attacks 100% are a thing. Like that will.
Well, he
tangibly
also
impact
started actually playing a lot of solo queue again too. Like he's done this before, where he like locks in for Worlds and he plays more games, and he just starts playing better, and he just starts like climbing as fast as possible. So it's kind of both, I guess, but it is like I think at this point you can legitimately say that no matter how bad they look, if they're there, you kind of got to do it.
Yeah. I mean, Greasy said hard to tell without knowing if they're sticking together. They're sticking together.
I would assume
I don't like T1 is going to be one of those rosters that somebody will take the pay hit to make sure that that roster stays together. And I think the only person that you're worried about losing realistically is Carrier. And that's more due to retirement than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
is he talking about that?
He mentioned it in his interview that, you know, he's not sure how long he can keep going. I think it's just the stress and the pressure get to him for a little bit.
Yeah.
But then he'll get some time off and be like, I shouldn't have said that. I should have just, you know, got through the tournament, not said a word, and then came back. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think there's a world where T1 breaks up.
I mean, I'm not gonna say without the DDoS attacks they want anything else, because the fact of the matter is that's a fake reality that we'd have to like just hope things happen differently. I mean, the reality in front of us is that they are not as great the rest of the year, and they turn it on at the most important time, which is really all that matters.
Yep.
So you don't have to like sit there and argue with people. Can they do it because they've done it? You know, they've turned it on at the most important time. It's just how it is. I
Yeah.
mean, in League, it's weird for us because there are so many titles, and that's just not how other sports work
Yep.
for Americans. So it is a weird psychological thing.
I'm curious though, would you count it the Golden Road if they don't win that MSI qualification tournament? Which is
Is it
not
a
an
tourney?
it is not an it is a mini tournament in the same way that the NBA in season tournament is a tournament, but it does not count towards an LCK title.
I need to see how it feels in the moment.
Okay.
I just need to see how it feels in the moment. If it's some troll thing that doesn't matter, then no. But
I mean, it's not
if it's
troll. You gotta finish top 2 to be able to get to Worlds or to
yeah,
MSI.
yeah, I just mean like if it feels like it's not a big deal, then no. But if it feels like a big deal, then yeah, I'll count it.
Okay.
More than likely, I'll count it. If it's a qualification tournament, then it should probably count. I don't think it should give you a banner,
Yeah.
but
No, it won't.
maybe to like, yeah, it should just count to the what is it? The
The golden.
mental golden road.
Because I mean, that challenge just became ridiculously hard now. Golden Road just became exponentially worse
Yeah, it
in
did.
terms of the possibility of it happening. So
Yeah, but it's gonna be so much cooler when somebody does it.
I don't know if anybody will.
I'm sure one day it'll
No,
happen.
no, no, no. I'm telling you, there's no way.
I think League would die before, like, League would have to die for it not to happen.
Really.
Yeah,
I
I
just
think
think I no,
somebody will do
I
it.
think it's the opposite. I think the league is just going to get too competitive and it's never going to happen again.
I don't know though. League is weird because you don't have to worry as much about fatigue and all that stuff. Like, there's mental fatigue, yeah, but I don't think that's what's stopping a team like Gen G.
But now you've got 3 international tournaments that you're traveling for.
Yeah,
That adds a
maybe
little
it
bit
creeps
more.
up.
That adds by World's time, you'll be feeling that shit a lot more. A lot more.
Maybe. Or you have a better read on everybody and you know how it feels better.
Possibly. But I think if there's one thing that we've noted from Worlds, it's that you can have the best read on people you want going into it.
Yeah.
Does not matter. BLG was so close to not making it out of Swiss stage. Then makes it to finals, nearly wins the entire thing, but still loses the T1. T1, who nobody in their right mind was picking them to win this, other than
Hmm.
just saying, hey, it's T1 at Worlds. Like, that was the only reason people would legitimately pick them come Worlds time.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't, like, I legitimately think the chance of anybody hitting the Golden Road is gone forever.
Yeah. I do think it's going to be interesting what happens with League as T1 slows down whenever they do,
I don't.
because it's going to be very interesting what happens there. Because honestly, I think it would have been better for League of Legends if they didn't win that final and BLG did,
It would have been better for China, that's for sure.
which
Without
I think would have
question.
been better for everybody.
I mean,
I think it would have, just to make it feel more competitive again. It's been a while.
but I will say this. If T1 wins next year, I think we have a problem on our hands. But
Yeah.
I don't think T1 wins next year.
Based on what? We have nothing to go
It's
off.
just
Just
it's
feeling.
too long.
Think it's too much on
too
'em?
long of a time. If T1 makes a change, maybe, but it's too
Well,
long that
you
this roster's
wait.
together. I think the year is going to be more grueling than it ever has been, and I think like I know people have been like, "Oh, this is the final time we might see this roster together for like 2 years straight now." But I legitimately think next year will be like the final year. They'll do 1 year of playing like that together, even if they win it all, and then somebody is going to finally be like, "Hey, it's time for me to go get the bag elsewhere. Like I've
You
done
wait
everything that
till
I wanted to do."
the world's patch next year is somehow carry top and junglers again. Mid lane, it doesn't matter. Faker can play anything. And then bottom lane just randomly moves towards Zaya, Kaisa, and not AP champs again. And it's like actual ADCs. And we're all just like, what's happening? Why is this happening? It's like, well, there's a certain team with a certain plot armor that needs to happen.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe G2 will actually step up with Scuman or Scumond, and
Doubt it. Not G2.
it's amazing to see them so high up in the final rankings of the global power rankings. FlyQuest barely creeping in the top 10. I think should be a little bit higher, but that's just me.
Are they in the top 10?
They're 10th.
Wow. I mean, that's fair. It's just surprising. They pushed Genji well. What wins did they have that pushed them that high?
I mean, they were always flirting around like 10th or 11th.
I thought they were like in the bottom teens.
No, so the final ranking is Billy first as the top team in the world, which I think is fair.
Weird.
Not really. They've got a better record overall and have a second at MSI and a second at Worlds, which outweighs a first at Worlds and a third at MSI with a direct win over, or with 2 direct series wins over T1, even though they lost the final one in a very close series. Like I think it's fair to still say BLG above T1. Genji third, Hanwha Life fourth, Top fifth, G2 sixth, JDG 7th, Weibo 8th, D plus Kia 9th, FlyQuest 10th.
It'll also be interesting if Genji cuts Pays for ruler. I'm curious to see Pays with a jungler or a support, my bad, who didn't completely choke the way Lens did.
Yeah.
That game.
Dude,
Lens was
shit the
crushing him. It was so bad for him. Like I like Pace, so I was like, I really want to see Pace do stuff here. And Lens was just like, nah, bro. And then like I don't know how T1 mind controlled On to do the same thing in game 5. Like he flashed the wall for like I guess he really liked the engage spot, but they could have let him just walk in and go over the wall.
Bro, it's not even just mind control. Like we've never been in those situations. We've never played League in front
Yeah.
of 20,000 people screaming
Yeah, when
like
you're
that
just
and going
resting.
nuts. Like, dude, nerves get to you. It's a whole other level.
Yeah. They
I
just choked so hard, those two supports.
Carrier just was a rock. Steady as he
Yeah.
needed to be. It's all they needed from him, and he did exactly that.
Yep. I mean, he was flashing forward on Renata. He was kind of going crazy.
Yeah.
He is one of like the best supports in the world. When he's on point.
He is the best support in the world, in my opinion.
When he's on point, it's awesome because he does stuff like that. He flashes forward. He's like really cool.
Yep.
And he doesn't flash forward and whiff everything. He'll like flash forward and hit everything. It's so good.
Yeah. Mickey X choked as well. Yeah. Busio did not. I don't think. Who lost us that game 5? I forget.
I don't know who you'd really blame it on. The team?
Yeah,
Kinda?
I think the team just kind of.
Also, Bwipo was slowly going downhill that series.
Yeah.
I think him not being able to play like meta things and always playing like something to try to throw people off it works until it doesn't, right? Like you can do it against worse players, but there's a point where your pocket pick isn't actually better than just the raw best champ on the
You're
patch.
telling me my Ziggs bot lane isn't the optimal pick at all times
Yeah.
just because I enjoy playing it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was a point where I was like, is the Urgot still like necessary here? Can we just play something that, you know, is normal into this? And he was just like, I will Urgot into them until they give in. And
Yeah.
eventually they were like, well, this is pretty easy to play around, and it was over.
Yeah, it's tough. But what can you do
He also,
other
like,
than possibly bench
I
yourself
don't
to
know.
try and bring in Jojo Pion and coach next year instead of playing?
Yeah,
You know.
that's true. That's true. That I mean, I don't know what they'll do next year with top lane out. Just because Blippo, it seems like he kind of wants to keep playing. Was kind of looking at maybe not playing.
Yeah, that whole roster mania thing confused the shit out of me.
Yeah,
It's like, so Blippo was on board to not play next year, but yet
yeah,
he constantly talks about how, like, this is the moment that he strives for. And, like, this is
yeah,
why you play League of Legends. And I'm just sitting there, like, something about the math ain't mathin' on
yeah.
this. And it's like, by the way, how coy of Papa Smithy to be like, in hindsight now, we were never replacing Quad. We were looking at replacing Blippo for Jojo Pune. Come
Yeah,
on, you fucking idiots. Like, what are you doing?
that
Come
is
on. It's
funny.
like, oh, gee. Once that rumor came out, I was like, God damn it.
Yep,
We should have known. We should have known.
it is funny.
It's going to be something.
I. It's just weird. It's a weird thought to be like, hey, we are cool with the mid laner, but we're like worried about our top laner being so random with his picks and having a very random play style. There's times he is like just a macro genius, and then like there are times where you can tell like the heat of the moment, which I mean could happen to anybody, does catch up to him. And you do have to one or two at the same time, like, is it worth trying to replace him for somebody else? Because it's tough. I mean, there's a balance there of like you did just win your first split ever in LCS as an organization. Like, are you really looking to make replacements unless they're massive replacements? Like, probably not. It would have to be something insane. You
Yeah.
can't replace him with basically anybody in the league.
No.
Like, even Impact, I wouldn't say is
Oh,
like
God.
something that would excite people after
No,
Worlds.
especially Impact shit the bed at Worlds, too.
Yeah. Really, it makes you. I kind of forget it until every international tourney. I don't know how I forget it before every single one. That our top lane is just that much weaker.
Yeah.
Like we always get caught up in support being our worst role, and we all forget that like other what is it region top laners are just insane mechanically.
Yeah.
Like
That's
they're
why
psychos.
That's why I wanted Sniper to make Swiss stage just to see him take some 1v1s. I mean, he
Well, he's
needs
got
to.
to make it.
Yeah. I mean, he did. He just.
Apparently, that's easier said than done for some organizations out there.
Look, you don't got to worry about us shit in the bed here soon. So just enjoy it
True.
while it lasts.
True. I mean, Sniper is an interesting one because it's like, in theory, I want to say like we would want to send Thanatos and Sniper to see what they got, but Sniper is kind of like he actually had a pretty decent Worlds. His team just randomly started like Quid fumbled so bad that it's like strange because you're sitting there like, well, like for Flag, it is now. I'm like really thinking about it with the FlyQuest point too, because I'm sitting here going, is there really anybody you can replace Blippo with? But also I'm sitting here like thinking about Quid. I'm like, why would you ever replace him?
Well,
And
I
it's
mean,
just the weirdness of being so much harsher on Blippo, but giving Quid a pass for fumbling against Brazil of all people,
Quid has had a history of nerfs
or
though in these
seven. It's even
moments.
worse. Oh, Has he?
Yeah, I mean, think about the first time that Quid has ever like done. It seems like every time with Quid, the first time that he does something, or the first time he's in like a brand new setting, he
Hmm.
falters. Like first time he was in the LCS, period, playing on stage, played really bad, really
Yeah.
really bad, and then they gave him a little bit more time. He was able to overcome it, and he started playing well on the LCS stage normally, and he was fine. But then we went into our first best of 5. Quid was not like couldn't adapt well within the series. Just mentally, it felt like he collapsed. Then he gets a little bit more experience, comes back, does better in LCS playoffs, goes to his first like stage event at
Hmm.
finals, gets his shit pushed in terribly. Okay. It's like, okay, well, next time he gets back to that stage, maybe it'll be better. But then he goes to his first international event. Same thing. Gets
Yeah.
absolutely Goomba stomped there. And it's like, the next time he goes back, you're assuming that he's going to be better because he has a history of improving on it. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm also not going to excuse that like nerves
Cooked him.
clearly a problem.
100%. And if 100 Thieves doesn't change their bot lane, well, we know they're changing AC, but
Well,
I'm saying the whole lane.
I don't think all of bot lane is changing
I know that's a problem.
because Sniper apparently said on stream that only one change is happening with 100 Thieves.
If it's Berserker, maybe you can buy me in.
There's going to be so many people that are going to be mad if it's Berserker paired with Ayla.
I mean, yeah, you should replace that mid split of like winter split. I know they won't, but they should.
I mean, look, who else is on the market right now?
ADC wise or
No.
support?
Okay, just go off the theory that I mean, it's not realistic. I think that we assume Berserker at the moment, just because we
Yeah,
don't
it's
know about
probably
the.
FBI and Ayla, which is just tough.
Yeah,
Tough. I
I
mean, FBI's. I think he's fine on a good team, but
I would say if He doesn't have a team, bring in He as a positional coach.
oh yeah. I don't think a positional coach is saving that guy, but maybe Ayla does just need one more year with a stable bottom lane.
I I
Maybe that's
I
their
find that
logic. I'm trying to talk myself into it the way they would, you know, other than money. Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a good answer. All I know is like the rumor that would have been of like Jojo Pyun coming mid and then Quid swapping to bot was interesting. I don't think I like the move, but just let Quid keep developing in mid lane. Don't force him out of that.
yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I
Support just
if
feels
you
like a
get
black hole, no?
Berserker in NA, yes, but also somehow like Busio did just need time. I know Ayla's been around as long as Busio, so it's hard to say that. But Ayla, one thing he hasn't had in his career yet is a team that's believed in him. I mean,
That's fair.
and this one was tough on him. The only thing that makes me not want to say he's completely a dud yet is he did have like Meech was just done. It seemed
Yeah.
he was not having a good time, and it's got to be tough to like get your confidence back
Yeah. Whenever a player
in that
loses.
kind of scenario when half of your bottom lane is falling apart. Like even when the other guy comes back in and he's talking to you a lot and he's helping you get through it, it can't be easy to like completely be back to what your potential is possibly.
Yeah.
Now they have a good coaching staff, so maybe they could have got him back and maybe that was his potential, but I could see a world where they've convinced themselves that he deserves one more shot.
Yeah. At least play him through spring split, and then if you need to replace for summer, do it.
Yeah,
I
which
think I'm
wouldn't be
down.
the end of the world.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I think that's ultimately fine.
Now I don't know who you replace him with. Like there's not a lot out there support talent pool wise. And I mean, if we're being honest, this world support looked pretty tough to play. Doesn't look easy right now.
No.
I mean, in general, you got to think it's not the easiest role in the world. I know there's a lot of people who are going to say the role's giga broken because that's what they love saying in their solo queue merchants. But there is a real world where the more dashes you add, the better hands get, the better everything just gets, and there's just so many ways to get out of CC and deal with your problems. It does make the role harder. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna throw a lot more shots that miss than hit, and you have to be in a team that is at least mentally positive enough to let you shoot and miss.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being it's not even a kicker because a kicker can't miss. I'm trying to think, what is it? Like 3-point shooting specialist basically.
Yeah.
Your team has to be comfortable with you getting 38% hit rate and not like
Not
getting
panicking.
livid
Yeah.
at you. Yeah,
Punter.
which is what
Maybe.
it is. Yeah, I guess puncher. I think 3-point shooting is like the closest thing.
Yeah.
Because like 3-point shooting is like we know it's gonna be under this level, but it's fine. It's gonna feel like it's not going well sometimes, but in reality, it's totally
It's
fine.
going fine.
Yeah, and it's rough because I mean it's probably not an easy role for a lot of guys. I mean you're expected to shot call as well because you're the role doing the least amount, and then you have to like basically manage everybody else. Vision's harder than it's ever been. You have to pretty much be 100% of the time guessing where people are
Mm-hmm.
and telling your team where they're at, which, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it that makes it not guesswork. But, I mean, there's so much you're like juggling mentally that then you add on like missing an engage that you really thought was gonna
Yep.
be big, like just tough role. And obviously to me, this world showed how tough of a role mentally it is because I mean, it looked tough. There was a lot of players making it look rough.
I mean, even in final, like you go all the way throughout the entire tournament, it just felt like support was one of those roles that like you were
Yeah,
either really on or you were off.
yep. No, for real. Like, it felt that way the whole way through. And I mean, it's one of those just is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
you have to sit through some of the bad with sports to get to that good. And I don't know if every team is willing to do it. I mean, FlyQuest showed like you can take a broken guy, put him with another person, they can be absolutely terrible for the first half of the year, and then figure it out, and everything all of a sudden is forgotten.
Yep.
I mean, they are one of those situations where winning solved all their problems.
Yep.
Everyone forgot Masu and Busio sucked to
Well,
start the year.
I would say that Busio was more of the problem there. I mean, as a
Maybe
duo
that
of
MSI was not looking good for either.
no, I think Masu looked pretty good at MSI. No,
I didn't really believe in either of them after MSI.
fair
I thought
enough.
they both kind of looked like they were very beatable. Masu looked okay, but it also looked like he was just kind of like sneaking under the radar, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you that. Is there anything
Busio
else?
was having a tougher time though, for sure.
Yeah. Is there anything else from Worlds storyline? Anything that's worth talking about that I'm
I mean,
forgetting
no, I
about?
think it's all been kind of
Oh, MSI in Canada,
down, really. Yeah, that is big.
which likely means Worlds in North America in 2026.
Yep, that'll
Pretty,
be nice.
pretty big.
You think they'll be in Brazil or NA?
NA,
Though,
NA.
think they'll keep it in. I think they could do groups in or Swiss and Brazil.
Yeah, they're not. Here's the thing: them going into Canada for MSI, they're not going to go to Canada for finals. I don't think, or for Worlds.
Yeah, no way,
That's
no way.
my gut feeling.
I mean, my
Because
guess is. Trying to think.
people just got to
Oh,
realize that it is very, very difficult to work on double visas when it comes to the US.
good point. Good point.
It's like visa issues are going to be a thing, and they're not going to want to avoid the US market. There's no way.
Yeah.
We sell out stadiums way too well here for League of Legends for them not to do it.
It would probably be like if they wanted to min-max it best, and they do intend to hit Brazil, it'd be good to do like Swiss stage Brazil, then throw quarters in New York, because the time change is a little less. Then put semis in Chicago, work them down another hour, then work them down the rest, and do finals in California. And just
Dude,
slowly push the hours back.
the East Coast deserves a final.
A World's final, you think?
Yeah, we really do.
Well, you could just do it the reverse method of what I just said. You do Cali, Chicago, New York, and just look at them and be like, hey, 6-hour time difference before your quarter game, suck it. And throw them in there.
Worlds 2016 was in North America,
5
right?
hour, whatever it is. Worlds 2016. I don't know, to be honest. I don't remember where all of them are.
Because there's a really
Way
cool.
too hard to remember that.
There's a really cool thing that you could do. Worlds 2016 was, in fact, in North America. Here's what you do. Calling it now. Y'all can call me a god for this when it's all said and done. Golden prediction. On the 10-year anniversary of the Rocks Tigers Ash Arrow in Madison Square Garden, they bring semifinals back to Madison Square Garden for both days.
I mean, that would be fine. That would be pretty
10
good
years
to me.
later, 2016,
Yeah.
2026, both in New York City. You have to go to New York at some point. You can't avoid us. Sorry. We're the best in the world for a reason. Like, you will be here somewhere. And I don't think you want to use MSG for finals. Personally, I don't think you want to use it for finals.
Wait, are you saying to keep it in New York for...
Nah, I mean, if you want to do
Semis and
quarters,
then
you can, but I think
finals?
MSG is going to cost way too much to
I was
do
gonna say,
for
just do semis there.
just do
and then go
semis.
where?
Finals. I mean, you could go fucking anywhere, dude, if you want to. It doesn't
Probably,
matter.
yeah. Anybody would show up. Chicago would be nice for me, but would probably never happen.
Chicago sounds good. Maybe Boston.
Boston, yeah. Boston would be
It's not too far from New York,
cool.
but I
I
feel
don't
like
think they would do them that close.
no. Do you think there's a chance that they would do SoFi?
No, SoFi's too big.
Really? You think it's too big?
SoFi, like, you're talking about LA?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's way too big for a league.
For a World's
Isn't it?
Finals, though? For a World's
Yeah.
Finals.
SoFi stadium capacity.
100K?
70. I don't think we're putting 70 in anything, brother.
Section off the one side. Make it like the Eras Tour.
Expandable up to 100K for a major event.
Okay, well, we don't need to do that. But, like, I'm saying, did you see YouTube Theater would be, for groups would be cool? Do not put groups in LA.
Nah, dude, hear me out. That Intuit Dome is pretty cool.
Wait, what? In Vegas? Oh,
No,
I forgot about the
not the
fucking
Sphere.
sphere.
Yeah, but no, the Intuit Dome in LA that Balmerville for the Clippers. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have.
Dude, the walls and stuff. You could do like semis or quarters in Vegas and then do finals in the Intuit Dome.
Oh, dude,
18,000 seat arena.
the sphere would cost so much. I'm trying to think how you do it. I mean, here's the thing. Okay,
How many people can go to the Sphere though?
finals in the sphere would be nuts. No. The sphere would have to be finals. It would be the most insane venue that we've ever had.
Oh, you can put 18K in there?
In the sphere?
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a very small stage.
That's the only worry.
And that thing would have to be jam-packed.
Oh, I mean, it would be. It would be sold out entirely. I feel like if you're going to do Vegas, you'd be better off doing the Allegiant Dome. Like, as for finals, but, like...
Yeah.
You got to hit the sphere at some point, right? Like, it's the peak of UFC... Or not UFC. It's the peak of...
the Sphere's a better...
semis.
in a, like, finals thing. LCS finals.
I think it's too
or
big. It's way too big for LCS finals.
Probably.
Way too big.
You're right. Too expensive.
Not worth it. I mean, if anything, then here's what you do. You
Just
do
take the budget one and do the Intuit Dome.
you do this. Okay, you do the sphere for semis, for both semis, and then you put finals at MSG,
Yeah, that's fine. Semis at the Sphere is fine, I think.
and then finals at MSG. I mean, that'd
Yeah.
be because you got to get to New York. Now they could do group stage in New York again, which I think worked incredibly well. But I
No,
don't think they're not going to want to do that twice in a row.
let's be honest, with current trajectory, Swiss is going to be in the studio.
No, Chris Greeley
With some
promised it
more
would not be. They said it would not go back to like
They
will make
said
sure it has
that
more.
wasn't that didn't work.
They said they will make sure it has more capacity next time.
Can't believe they even did that in the first place, but
Here,
I guess they learned.
hear me out. Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah, dude. People want to fly into Indy to watch League of Legends. I'm good. Highly doubt they do. I mean, we can. That would be very easy here. It would be very easy to do and to get to and to buy a hotel for. I don't think anybody would want to come here.
I mean, I'm sleeping on your couch. I'm not going to a hotel, but
Well, yeah, I'd let you do that, I guess. I guess. I mean, I have a bed you could sleep in, but it's
Yeah.
full. So good luck with your tall body.
yeah.
But maybe I'd just give you the key and I'd sleep on the couch and Sam would sleep in the full bed for the weekend. But I mean, you could just do New York, like the Sphere, and then LA, or
Good.
New York, the Sphere, Chicago.
Good. Very well.
I don't know where you do Swiss at that point. Swiss could be in that
Brazil.
YouTube theater, or Brazil. Brazil's fine too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. There, it's tough because NA is so big.
It is. I know this is going to be like a shorter episode, but we have so much off season to work with that I kind of want to save like LTA, LCS stuff for next week.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just because I feel like we can really dive deep into it on that point. We're already in an hour, so if we start going in depth on that, it's going to be a long time.
I'd also like that to kind of finish up a little bit. I feel like we're getting closer to where some of these lower tier teams should start building out their rosters.
Yeah, and we can actually talk
I mean,
about it.
how we don't know what Dig is doing at all is crazy to me.
Oh, dude, it's wild.
Like, there's not a single thing about them.
Is there anything like announcement wise though on LTA that's worth talking about right now? Without like that's like surface level.
Surface level for it?
Other than the fact
mean,
that I hate the acronym LTA.
Really, no. Other than, do we want to save the 100 Thieves stuff for another day? Or
No, I think we
you've
can
done
talk
so
about
many
that now.
videos, it's probably fine.
That's whatever. I want to give you a platform to talk about it because obviously I kind of went scorched earth to a certain extent.
Yeah.
There's really not much else I can say on the matter. I mean, if chat's got anything unanswered that you want to hear from me, that you don't feel like any of the videos or any of the things I've said have sufficed or like have hit what you wanted to hear. Yeah, suffice to what you're expecting from me. Let me know. But otherwise, yeah, I want to give you a chance to say what you want on it.
I mean, I will say the comment he made, I've never more quickly had somebody make me go, oh, okay, never mind. Like, you're out of my list entirely now. What am I even supposed to do there? He didn't even throw a new fan a bone, dude. Like, what can I do? And your video basically summed up like 90% of what an actual fan would think. Your comments was just a bunch of people saying like, yeah, I'm low key about to pick a new team, like because he told me to. He tried to explain it then. I read his explanation. His explanation isn't really anything. It's kind of political in most ways. He's just trying to like kind of get the heat off him, chill everybody out, but he never really says we're committed to this and we're going to make our team the best and we're here long term. He kept saying we're letting Riot evaluate things, which is probably what they told them to say. So they can't say much more legally. But if that's all you can say legally, like what am I really supposed to think about your team?
I mean, they're
Like
gone.
they gotta be.
They're-
Especially with what Mark said
Not even
in
what
that
Mark
dive
said,
episode.
with what Jungle Juice said.
Yeah.
Did you watch Hotline League or like listen to that segment?
No, I listened to your question.
Well, it was Jungle Juice's response to my question.
Yeah, it did not sound like he was confident.
It's that Riot is expecting somebody to buy that spot.
Yeah,
We're
they just
fucked.
want to pick
We're,
who.
we're fucked. Like you can't. What can you do? We
When he
accepted
said we want to
money.
buy it back, I was like, "What do you mean by that, brother?
Yeah.
You want to buy it back? How do you explain this in detail?"
You can't.
So remember too, they said we took it for the money now to help our company. They didn't say to help grow our team.
Company ventures and
Yeah,
something. It was like explicitly.
holdings.
Yeah.
Yeah, like something silly. And he says oh yeah, company ventures and what was it? It was appease the board or something.
Yeah.
Like it was help board members too. So you're sitting there like, okay, so you needed this money, which tells me you're in financial trouble because you took this money. And then on top of it, you say, and we're expecting to buy the slot back? What? So you need the money now, and you're gonna take that money, not do anything that makes you money to buy it back, and then buy it back. With what money? Like, what money? And I'm not even a financial guy. I'm just listening and going, this is not how I would have bought anything ever in my life. I never would do that. I wouldn't go, man, this car I own, like, actually, well, not even a car I own. Let's say I'm paying a loan on it. And I tell the dealership, you know what? Give me my money back for the car. Lower the money that like the car's worth for me, whatever. Do what you gotta do because they took a less stipend too.
Yep.
Like lower everything you're giving for me amenity wise, take off the warranties, everything. If you want to give this to somebody else, let me know. But I'm still gonna be around. And I'm still gonna kinda pay into this. But if you want to give it away, just let me know and I'll take my hands off the car. You can have it back. I just want my money back. And it's like, what, bro? Like, how am I supposed to think you want it? It sounds like you're trying to get them to give it away and then be the bad guy. But
Yeah.
you fumbled the bad guy bag. So now you're just the bad guy. And
Yep.
Riot got lucky. They didn't just sell it to anybody. And Riot probably bought it back. And that also tells me nobody wants to spend that money too on a league spot, which is interesting.
Yeah. That's the key detail. Well, okay.
Because if somebody wanted to buy it, they would have.
We know at least one group that wanted to, but Riot probably
They
didn't
wouldn't
want
let
them
them.
getting it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Can Riot block that?
Yeah. Riot controls the slot.
Okay, they can block
And they
the
control
who
because
buys them.
remember Echo Fox was like trying to sell to somebody that
You're
they
right,
didn't
you're
approve
right.
of, and Riot was like, "Fuck you! No, you're not selling it to them. Not a chance."
Yeah.
And then they forced them to sell to EG later because that was like the only offer that
Which,
Riot would accept.
I mean, so good for them. That paid off.
Yeah.
They are a good judge of character, at least.
Clearly.
Yeah. It is worrying though. Like when I was talking with Khan and I was thinking about the fact we were talking about how, and I know everyone who knows us and Khan thinks he's just a negative Nancy, but there are some things you have to hear him out on because sometimes he's just saying things I don't want to hear.
Yeah.
but I kind of need to think about. And he was like, we have lost like more teams than have been around or have a franchise slot now in the past few years. And I was like, no way, bro. And he started listing them, and he was listing like a lot of teams that have won a title in this league. And I'm like, oh, I was like, this is a bad list. Like, this list has a lot of big names. And he was like, yeah, and add 100 Thieves to that list. And I went, whew, you add 100 Thieves to that list. That's not good. And I'm not saying NA can't recover. Like, obviously, we're doing perfectly fine. I think NA is in a fine spot right now. It's just that I don't know, man. This turnover, they got to figure it out. They got to work with these teams, and they got to figure something out to stop the turnover. Because as a fan of currently 2 teams have left, and I've only been a fan of 2 teams in the past 2 years, so it's not looking good for me, and I know it's not looking good for you. Like,
It's, oh god, it's such a
at
weird.
this point, how do you pick another team? Like, who's not just TL or C9 or Fly? Because they're kind of all that's left, and obviously none of us want to pick C9.
Yeah.
Because if you've been in the space long enough, that's just
You're not
awkward.
picking. Yeah, you're not picking C9.
Yeah.
Ever.
So it's like, and you don't really want to pick TL unless you like have a real reason to go to TL
What's up, bitches?
or like them. But I can't do TL. Howdy doodly.
Hi, how's it going?
Oh, just sitting,
Just
chatting.
sitting? Yeah. It's fucking hot today.
Was it? How hot was it in NY?
80s in
Oh my
November
goodness!
in New York
It wasn't
City,
80
man.
here.
Yeah, it was hot. It was.
It's really, and now it's like calmed down in the heat, but it's humid outside, so it's really fucking hot and sticky.
What did that up there?
I don't know.
Global
Oh.
warming.
Yeah,
Nice jingle.
we're chilling, I guess.
All right, have fun. I'm gonna go make dinner.
Have fun.
Is
I
Indy
got you a donut.
saved?
What?
I got you a donut.
Could you bring me the donut? It would make me feel better right now. Let me ask you this. I don't know if this is an egotistical question or not. From the outside in, do you think I've burnt too many bridges at 100 Thieves with what I've done over the last week?
No. I think they'll still keep you around. One, this isn't to put down what you do or to sound
No.
rude
No, beyond.
to anybody.
Look what I got.
But they love free help, and they just want to penny pinch as much as they can. So with what you do, you could probably say the worst things about them, and they want free help so bad, they will still let you bully them into whatever you want to, and let you still talk about them. It's kind of crazy. Like, obviously there has to be a breaking point at some point, but they're just so, like, cheap, to be honest. It seems like they're very cheap. And I think they would take anything you're giving them for help. I mean, at this point, the fact they haven't offered you any amount of, like, help in watch parties, in a sense, other than, like, maybe swag or something, Like,
They have not.
oh, they've never even sent you swag.
They did once back in 2022.
Okay, then yeah, they're just, I don't think you have. And if you have, to be honest, me and a lot of people in your community, just saying, I think at this point, good riddance. If they do decide to try to burn a bridge with you, like, you should go to somebody who actually appreciates you and do what you do. And that's not even glazing like the donut. That's just saying, like, you probably could go somewhere and they would at least, like, throw you a bone. Which
Bro.
I'm not saying you should now, because I get your
Yeah.
fandom has you way too in lock.
That's
not.
That was my biggest thing, was like a lot, by all means, like, I'm not oblivious to the amount of people telling me to jump ship.
Mm.
I know realistically, like, might be adding more fire to the flame. I know this is a toxic relationship between the two of us in a way.
Yep.
Where like they're realistically going to be out of the league. If I was smart, I would sever ties now, but that's not how. It's not how it works. Like
Yeah.
I can't just go into next year and be like, hey, I'm a fan of this team. Meanwhile, the same org with the same players and the same management is sitting there on the other side of the rift with the same branding and be like, we're still here. Like it's like it doesn't work exactly like that. This isn't like I can come in with the the new girlfriend, the hotter girlfriend, and like try and show them up. Like it's different in sports. So like
Yep.
for better or for worse, I feel like at least until we get official word, I have to ride it out.
Yep.
I don't have a choice. Anything else feels
No,
disingenuous.
I think it's impossible. I think leaving your team is like the hardest thing for people, and it's just not possible for most people. Like, you just can't leave a team that really means something to you. And the people who are telling you should just want your content to flourish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why they're saying it. They want you to
Yeah,
go
I
to a
know.
bigger brand and do that. But realistically, if you wouldn't, your content wouldn't flourish because I know your soul wouldn't be into it because you'd always feel awkward about it. Because you would feel the exact same way I did last year, bro, or this past year with NRG. I'm not gonna lie, there was no point where I was like loving it. I was kind of just like, man, this kind of sucks. I really miss my old team, and I miss having a team that, like, even at their worst, I could just be like, I still believe you'll give me something good. Like, it's that toxic. I'm
Yep.
like, you'll still do something eventually. But then, like, NRG left the league, and I didn't even really I didn't care at all, bro. I was just like, whatever. Like, that is what it is. I mean, and now it's like it has made it really tough because I have no idea what I even want to do for the next team.
Yeah.
Because I'm just at this point where I'm like, you kind of just like lose the flame a little bit for a little. And I think I should have picked an org. Well, I did what I did for reasons, but we don't have to talk about all this. We burned enough bridges. But yeah, we got lied to, baby, to our faces by a guy, but a rich man at least. So I mean, it makes sense. The rich will always destroy the poor, but that's how it goes. And it's just like you're sitting there, and it's like, bro, at this point, I kind of just want to take a year and like let myself fall in
Breathe.
love with
Yeah.
somebody. Yeah, and do that. But I also like don't just want to watch the league without a team because that's weird.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I just watch it because part of my mindset has been like I should do what I did when I first started watching anyways. When I first started watching League, I didn't have a team.
Yeah.
I just fell in love with somebody. I started watching TSM Cribs. Really, it started with Odd One. I was watching Odd One streams on Twitch. I had no idea what Pro League was. And of course, he's like, hey, you should go watch TSM, my team, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He retires. the year that I finally want to check him out, he retires. But it didn't even matter because, I mean, he was like, we're getting this young stud. People should watch him. He's pretty cool. Bjergsen, that worked out well for me. So life was good. And now I'm kind of at that point where I think I want to do that again.
Yeah.
And just be like, hey, I'm going to slow roll into somebody and see where it goes. And 100 Thieves saying what they said
Automatically took him out. Yeah.
takes them out, but also it like kind of changed my perspective to that side. Because the part he said where you should just pick a team who wants to be here long term made me realize how lame that would be.
Yeah.
To just be like, I'm picking my team because I'm praying to God they don't leave.
Yep.
And that's my only goal, is to pick somebody with a lot of money who I don't think will leave. And that's just not cool. And I'm glad he said it, to be honest, because it helped me think about what I want to do with LCS, especially with it changing over as a complete brand. well, LTA, I guess I should be saying.
Yeah.
But it changing brand even makes it easier to like now change my team because this is technically a whole new thing.
Yeah.
So now I'm just picking somebody who I think will spank Brazil once a year, which is kind of nice.
Yep.
But it was weird. It was probably the weirdest thing I've ever read written by a guy who is president of anything involved in any sporting type thing ever. Other than, and my owner is Jim Irsay. I will remind you all that, and he says some weird things. Jim Irsay says a lot of weird things.
I just couldn't imagine ever saying that. Because like
No.
when I go through, if I have to go through the idea of, or like the process of picking a new org to support and picking a new team, like I don't know if this is egotistical of me at this point, but I feel like I personally want to go somewhere where I feel like I can help shape the culture.
Yep.
I feel like I'm at the point now where I can do enough to really kind of shape it in a way that I see fit and be with a brand that shares my ideas on the way forward for esports, because that's how we all grow. And I can be an asset to them. You know, obviously I'll be a fan of their team, which is an asset to them, like regardless. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's egotistical or not. I don't think it is. I think I've earned to a certain extent the right to say that with how much work I put into it. But
hmm
we'll see. I'll deal with that
Uh,
when the time
and
comes.
it's not ego from you. It's literally just where you're at. You're in a different perspective than me. I'm not a content creator, so I'm actually just picking somebody to be a fan. You're a content creator, so you actually have like a pretty big influence on how that group could think, and you could legitimately build them out a brand in New York City. That's like pretty attractive to, I think, a lot of teams.
Yeah.
And when 100 Thieves leaves, I think that's what a lot of teams are waiting for you, probably. They're trying to see if 100 Thieves leaves because there's no reason, or I think most of them understand how your brain works in the sense of like, Papa Smithy is too smart to try to flirt with you in the DMs while 100 Thieves is here. He knows what you are deep down. But the second they're gone, I can see a guy like him being like, come on, I know you want this. Or like somebody from a TL. I know C9's already been flirting with you, but they can't. They know they just can't win you.
That
They're just trying.
makes me wonder, like the C9 David. It made me wonder if it like does he like, surely he knows. There's no way.
Oh,
That
they
like
all have to know.
yeah.
You're a huge meme in there, I bet. That like they know you just unashamedly hate on them. Like
Hey,
they
it's
know
good
and
for
they probably
them.
think it's funny.
It's good
Yeah.
for them at the end of the day. Like attention is attention. It's some way to bounce off of.
Yep. And I mean, the smaller orgs, they may try to send something too. I mean, I know most of them won't catch your. I don't think any of the smaller ones could really catch you unless it's like DSG type.
Even then, DSG for me is nothing against them. Like I love Disguise as like a creator and everything that they're doing on that front, but the brand just doesn't speak to me at
That's
all,
fair.
because it like for me, I value a traditional sports type thing. Like I just
hmm
do. Like that's the type of environment that I want. I want like the feeling of trying to grow something to be in a stadium. And that's not saying that this guys can't, but it's just going to be a different type of fandom. And I don't feel like I fit the culture of Disguised if that were to happen. Shopify,
Yeah.
not happening. They're Toronto. I respect that, and I love the fact that they're going for it. Like mutual respect for them, I will always have. Love everything that's going on over there, but like I want to build a pocket of LTA fans for your org in New York City.
Yeah.
Like I want to build like we're gonna have watch parties every time you play. Like if somebody's willing to give me the resources and we can like actually partner with somebody, I want it to be every single time that team plays, you can go to that spot.
hmm And it's a good time.
Yeah. And I'll make sure that it is every time. And we'll have like an
I
annual you start an annual tradition just like a fan club typically does, and we start building that shit out. Because I didn't tell you this, but I got a DM on TikTok the other day
mhm,
of somebody that went to the Team Liquid watch party in the DMV area at like
mhm.
District E or whatever it was for finals. They said there were about 40 people there, give or take, and they said it really wasn't that great of a time. Uh,
Mm.
there was like a group of like 20 people together that kind of dictate things. Now, I want to talk to the TL staff at some point and be like, hey, who was there? Like, just wanted to share this point of view because it was raised to me. Not that like I'm not gonna take any weight because it could just be that one person's opinion
Yeah.
versus like the entire group of people who had fun. Like I don't know, uh, but they shared it with me and I want to forward that along. Just because it's like, but like I want to have direct control of
Yeah.
the watch parties in the area and like be able to help grow it.
Yep. Yeah.
And the biggest thing that I
I
want to
think
do that I want org approval on this before because like I don't feel comfortable doing it on my own, but I really want to start doing 50-50 raffles. Do you know what those are? Like high school football games?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're
Get
talking
like the
about.
roll full of tickets,
Yep.
$5. Half the money goes towards further expanding out watch party. Like, and
Yep.
my logic is all the money goes towards the watch parties. So no matter what,
Yeah.
like whether that's prizing, whether it's reserving a space with a minimum so everybody can drink for one of the weeks, like food and beverages covered, like all the money goes back into that. But 50-50,
mhm,
and then you give half the cash back to you raffle it off to
Yeah.
people who bought a ticket. For those that don't know, I would love to do
No,
something like
that would be
that.
a good time.
Start a tradition, start a fan chant. Like I want to emulate European football culture to a certain extent, but I
Yeah.
don't feel like we've had the opportunity. I don't. For now, my best interest has always been grow LCS watch parties in New York City. Like it's in the best interest of everybody.
Mhm.
But like if somebody's willing to actually take a chance on me and invest with me, then I will swap to a team. And like it'll
Yeah.
still give an event. And by all means, like other people could do like LCS watch parties that they want, but like I want to be able to develop a fandom for that particular team at that one spot. But that's it. FlyQuest management should have stepped in for Blippo, to be honest. Makes them look incredibly bad long term. I mean, well, look, I'm really curious to see. We're just over a week and a half away from Roster Mania officially kicking off. So when are we talking Arcane stuff? I think we're gonna talk more Arcane next week. I'll wait until Paul comes back to be able to confirm that. But for those that don't know, we're actually having a watch party here in New York City for the entirety of Act 1 at OSNYC, 5 p.m. Or 6 p.m. Sorry, on Saturday. I'll be hosting it. We'll all be watching it together. I'll be filming our reactions to it, which I think will be fun. But yeah, Arcane's
Alrighty,
gonna
I'm
be a good
back.
time.
My bad.
Any comments you got on Arcane before Act 1 officially hits?
Nope. Just gonna watch it.
Same.
That's about
wait.
it.
I'm sure we can talk about it
Honestly.
after it happens, and
Yeah.
debrief on the episode next week. But
I heard everything you're saying. I have nothing on Arcane, to be honest. I'm just gonna watch it when I have the chance. I may not see it all this week. I'm moving,
yep,
so that'll is what it is. And apparently, the only internet company in my area is this company called Endeavor, which is very expensive.
oh
for
god,
good
I've
reason.
heard of Endeavor.
And the
Yeah.
only other one, or my bad, there's two. No, I'm staying in Indiana. There's Endeavor, and there's Xfinity. my two mortal enemies. But Xfinity has a really good military discount, so I'm hoping that'll make me able to like somehow buy a better tier. But dude, their way of doing it is so weird. They have tiers like everywhere. It's like a tier for this, tier for that. But some people say they love Xfinity, but last time I had it, it was like constantly cutting out
Well, I
for
will
me. The
say,
packet loss was terrible.
as a Verizon family creator, in some way that is partnered with Verizon, if you could have Verizon in your area, would highly recommend it. They've treated me well. I've had Verizon since I was 16. Got my first cell phone. Never
They have
switched.
a really good military discount too.
Yeah.
Very good.
But folks, that's gonna be it for us. It's gonna be it for this week. I don't think there's any other headlines. If you got anything you want us to talk about LTA wise, be sure to hop in our Discord. Mention it in the esports or general chats, and we will be sure to cover it next week, or just talk about it in general in the Discord. The conversation. I feel like the Discord's been popping off as of late. A lot of fun
We do lounge a lot.
that we do. So beyond that, we just wait to see. Wait to see what
And
happens
if
with the
you
LTA.
talk enough, you can get the role. There's a certain role that you can get. I'm not going to name it because you got to talk. But if you talk in there often and you become one of those people who gets the role, you get the coveted Paul role that everybody wants and any mod can give. But
We believe in selective hierarchy.
it's very coveted. And the only reason I made the role is because it was easier to find the people I wanted to talk to in lounge if they were online so I could add them better.
Jesus Christ.
That once I made it, bro, caused a lot bigger of a stir than I expected. There were people there like, why don't I have that role? And I was like, I don't know, my bad. And I'd give them the role.
Giving in the peer pressure, not your best moment, Paul.
Yup.
Not your best moment. All right, that's gonna be it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you next week. I've got a Arcane reaction video coming out tomorrow for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. The video there, and I'm curious to see how reaction content does on my channel all week, but we will see. Anyways, that's it for us. We'll catch you around. Bye bye.